Welcome to FaBled Hunters.
I'm Yuanji.
I'm Saint.
And today we're going to open up, about our experiences.
Yes, we are going to open up about our experiences at the Pro Tour.
Yeah, so it was a pretty crazy weekend, I think, overall. There were a ton of people there. I think over 1,000 people showed up at the Meadowlands.
I think over 1,300 unique players, like 1,288 or some sick number of unique players. That's the people registered to play, not even the people that ended up, just walking around, seeing stuff, buying stuff.
Yeah.
And visiting.
Yeah. And overall, I had a ton of fun over the weekend. How about you, Saint?
Oh, hell yeah. And it wasn't a weekend. For me, it was the entire week.
Okay.
I didn't think I would need to, but I literally had to take the whole week off work because people came just, piling in on Wednesday. And they're like, well, Saint's in New York, right? That's close to the Meadowlands.
Yeah, you're like the de facto New York tour guide.
Right? Yeah. I was doing visits and drinks late Tuesday night, the week of, and then dinners Wednesday, all the way on to Wednesday morning the next week, Wednesday morning of this past week. So it was literally a whole week ordeal, but it was great connecting with people.
Yeah, so I think it'd be a good time, to share. We have the video up already for your Pro Tour run.
Yep.
But
it wasn't a run. I didn't really go on a run. My run lasted 2 games, I think.
But you did say beforehand that your goal was to just win 1 game.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. It was to win 1 game, but after I put in some work, after I played some casual matches, I was like, wait a minute. I think I've put in my time. I think I can do this. I can go even or maybe even go positive.
Yeah.
And that definitely was not the case.
Yeah, there were a lot of really strong players at the event. I myself also didn't make day 2.
Oh, okay.
So it just goes to show, I think the whole world community for flesh+blood competitive players is developing.
Yeah.
A lot faster, I think, than a lot of people anticipated. And I think it's not even really clear to me anymore, which region has the strongest players. I think Europe really showed up very well.
In full force.
Yeah.
They took down the Pro Tour, Spain,
the
and the calling, Poland, right? It's all your fault, Yuanji.
That's my fault. It's true. Poland did do really well. I wanted to, take the time to kind of share between us and the viewers what your favorite moment was throughout the entire weekend.
My favorite moment?
Yeah.
What about yours first? You first.
Okay, I'll go first. So I think overall, just the energy of the event was really high. I think the closest comparison was Las Vegas as the first US calling in a long time. This was Las Vegas times maybe 10.
10. Yes. This is exponential. This is not just multiplicative. This is
and
so much more.
Overall, I do know that that some people had some not so great experiences, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But I think overall the energy was very positive for the entire weekend.
For sure. And
I think even outside of all the events that I entered, meeting all these players, there are 2 moments that I really had a lot of fun so the guys from Team Poland, it was funny, I was joking about this all weekend. Yeah. Saying that they were handing out these frostbite tokens.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And they're basically little
scenes of Poland scenery.
Scenes of Poland. It was funny because I played against a Polish player in the calling, and I asked him, I was like, oh, can I get a set? And he's like, oh, it's I don't really want to take payment, but maybe you trade some cards for it. And the only card that I had on hand, because I don't like to bring my whole trade binder or whatever to the event.
Yeah, you're not there to trade, you're there to be a competitor.
But I get it. I had a foil Courage of Blade hold that it's just someone returned to me because they were borrowing it. Okay. I was here, have this.
Really?
And I mean obviously the tokens aren't worth the same amount of money. Okay. But to me it's kind of one of those not once in a lifetime, but you're not really gonna get this type of opportunity to meet somebody who traveled hundreds of thousands of miles. They came with their little personal swag. Yeah, I can just whatever get a Courage of Blade.
Of course, hundreds of thousands of miles, and you're also being a good brand or a good ambassador of the game.
Yeah, right. So He gave me and my friend Yuanji each like a set of these like frostbite tokens. That was like a really fun moment for me.
Okay.
And then after the event on Sunday, I went out with a bunch of players from, I think, from Canada, from the UK, all over. One of our friends from Croatia. Staying with Michael over the weekend.
Really?
And then we went to dinner, and then we also had some beers. We did a little money draft at the end, and I think I won more in that in that one like little money draft because I got a crown of seeds and like $100 or whatever.
Nice.
Than I did the entire weekend.
Wow.
With Lexi in Tales of Aria.
With Lexi?
Yeah, in Tales of Aria draft. It was like the craziest draft deck.
Frost or
I've ever played. I just played like lightning attacks. My first pack, I just like only picked red lightning cards. I killed everyone on turn 2. In the finals, I killed my opponent on turn 3.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. In terms of my moments, there were so many. I have to say that all these dinners with multiple content creators, having been invited to dinner to the content creator artist VIP event by LSS, that was really special. Just to
where was that held?
That was held in Manhattan. It was at a nice, quaint Mexican restaurant in Manhattan, and just hanging out, watching Steve Argyle just do his thing. Literally at the table, people are busting out cards and play mats.
Oh,
like, Steve, can you draw this? He's like, oh, I could draw like a chibi angel, a chibi dragon. Like there's the, he's just has a style about him that when he uses marker, he's not, busting out Lilianas or whatnot.
Yeah.
But he's drawing like very cartoonish, iconic versions, but cutesy versions of like Viscerai and whatnot. And then just sitting down and exchanging stories about the hardships, hearing stories about the hardships that LSS was going through. That was just a combination of moments. But there's also the part where Rudy and the Magi Bros, Unhinged Magi, and I were going around opening packs. And
of course.
Yeah, there's exactly opening packs, like pack opening. That's what got me and drew me into this game in the first place. And I would say that all culminated into the Alpha Case opening. I don't know if you heard about it or you were competing at the time.
Are you talking about when you guys opened the Alpha Case at the
LSS booth?
Yeah. I heard the uproar.
Yeah.
I think I heard James open a box that had like it was like a foil E-Strike, a Scab Skins, and another cold foil.
It was 2 non-foil E-Strikes and I think a Blood Rush Fellow, but a 3 Majestic box, 2 cold foils, and we just ran really hot. And even if we didn't pull heart, and Scab Skins is all right, it kind of feels bad, but having a legendary in the box is better than not.
Yeah.
The most important part was that we all did it together. I was flanked by James White and Alan Hale, and I mean these are 2 of the top creators of Flesh and Blood.
Yep.
And they were enjoying their product, and more important than that, we were even sharing the experience with people. I have to say, at least 40 people other than James and myself got to open WTR alpha packs.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was Rudy's idea.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of people that were in the audience or viewers or, collaborators, also fellow content creators, because we all made content as a group.
Yeah.
They got to end up owning some alpha cards as well. And there's a guy that commented in some of these videos in the community. He was new to Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
I think he used to play Magic, I think, and his buddy just brought him to the Meadowlands. I don't think he competed. He hadn't played before. He's just like seeing what's going on. And he's like, oh, I've never played the game. And James is like, hey, you want a stack of alpha cards? I was like, yeah, that's a way to bring somebody into the game.
Yeah, definitely.
And he literally just gave him a stack of the alpha cards from the Alpha Case. And it left memories. We've been chatting through comments, and he's like, oh, I'm going to tell you all the stories of all the cards. And hopefully he's become a loyal FaBled Hunter subscriber too. Those are moments. Those are some real moments that I will probably never forget.
Yeah, and I think I wanted to take this time in this video to kind of reflect on, I think, this kind of monumental event, which is like the first like real international tournament that Flesh and Blood has held. And I think the message that I wanted to kind of discuss is the idea of perspective, because there's a lot of things that I myself, maybe sometimes I'm not like fully satisfied with how LSS or how Channel FaBled as a tournament organizer like does things. I know some people had negative experiences with like registration.
Oh yeah, and getting turned away.
Yeah, and these are definitely issues, but then I think what I wanted to talk about in this video is the perspective of how we even got to this moment. And so I think before the Pro Tour started, James White gave a little speech, and Flesh+blood right now I think is carried in 31 countries.
31 countries.
And 25 like participants from 25 countries came to play at the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
In the top 8, there were 7 different countries represented, which is kind of crazy.
That is crazy
to think about. And to get to this point, like saying you're a business owner, and so you understand there's things that customers or clients can see, and then there's also a lot of work that you have to do like behind the scenes to kind of make everything happen, right?
Yeah, like all the back office work, all the logistics, all the things that James and his partners were setting up. Everything that LSS had to prepare, all of the packages flying in and out, even the props that were sent to us that, James and Chris and I, like we ourselves, literally had to transport.
The same Uber delivery service.
Uber delivery service.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, a bunch of promotional cards, giveaways, swag. They literally had to set up so many things. And, James is like, oh, it's day one. I was told to give away these stack of cards to welcome people to the Pro Tour. Even the setup of the banquet, that banquet was extravagant. It was better than some galas, some business galas that I've been to at banking events. Honestly, it was really, really nice. I didn't get to eat much of it, unfortunately.
Okay.
But it was really nice. It was just such a treat.
I heard that there were crab cakes, and if I had known, I would have had some. But they had some really. Yeah. I thought that it was just gonna be like whatever, like Subway.
Yeah. I saw the mac and cheese, the sliders, and the pulled pork, but I didn't realize that. Not only I didn't realize, I was hanging out with Open Boosters, Edwin, and Rudy, and then all of a sudden it was just pictures. Hey guys, you mind? And I mean, them three are more YouTube popular than I am. Yeah. But I still had to take the pictures for them or be in a picture or pose or whatnot, so we didn't really get to eat. That said, even that event, like James's Q&A, it just felt like he prepared. He probably wrote out a list of 50 questions and he was like, what's the best way to answer this? And it felt like he was measured because he didn't want to give too much away. Yeah. Yet I would encourage anybody interested in Flesh+blood to check the replay. I think Flake has a replay of it. It's about 40 minutes where he just answers all the questions and he basically lets the player base know what he wants to let them know. Yeah. And he leaks or just disseminates a lot of info to the community. Yeah. And if you watch and listen carefully, I think there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to unpack from just that session. But the logistics, setting everything up. There are a couple of threads, at least on Facebook, of people being unhappy. There's no way to predict that the event would be sold to capacity. There really was no way. I assume that LSS and Channel FaBled were thinking, oh crap, we hope this doesn't bomb. We need at least 500 people. On a good day, maybe we'll reach 1,000. They didn't realize that it would be like 1,300 plus butts and seats, plus people waiting to come in. And that's just, word to the wise. Guys, every single event, no matter how large or small, has a number, has a capacity number. Always be prepared. Do your best to pre-register for the event. I know both of us registered like a week in advance, right, at least. And that will prevent you from not being allowed when you're at the door. Just be prepared.
I don't think it's like a far cry to say that I think that this event is kind of like the culmination of everything that LSS has really worked on in 2021. Yeah. From kind of scaling up their business, trying to like establish organized play, like when they kind of built out like the nationals circuit for like all the different countries.
And the 4 callings in the US
callings
as well.
in the US. I wanted to shout out especially all the people I think who traveled from Asia and from like countries where the travel visa process isn't as simple.
Oh yeah, I heard they had to go through a lot just to get into the US and maybe even have to face quarantine when they headed back.
Yeah,
right?
so I think it's good to keep that in mind, that like the game is kind of building out in a way that like that people are willing to maybe like stand in line for hours at the embassy just to like get like stamped, their visa stamped, so that they can come to the US and travel for this kind of like once in a lifetime experience. And I'm really happy that the game has kind of progressed to this point. I'm really excited to see what other things that LSS is gonna like work on behind the scenes to make. Maybe there's gonna be like a crazy PvE event in 2020.
Next year?
Yeah,
they said mid-23. I think James himself said mid-23 is when PvE is gonna be released.
Yeah.
And not just that, there's a team event, there's a team calling coming up, right?
Yes.
Which you probably need to make another video about.
Yeah, we'll make a video about that soon, and maybe hopefully we'll release right before the event. But
yeah, that would make sense. Wouldn't want to release after, right?
But yeah, like I think I just want to leave this video, I think, with the idea that I'm personally very excited, and to just be like patient, I think, to understand that there's a lot of stuff that maybe you and I like and anyone else like can't really see, but that they're working on it. And I think if anything, meeting James in person, listening to how all the LSS staff kind of like treat the game, and just like gives me, I think, more confidence.
Yeah, I mean, it was not only about the gameplay. The event was called the Pro Tour, of course.
Yeah.
And maybe it's from my perspective because I'm just a bad player. The Pro Tour lasted a whole 6 hours for me.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But for me, it was a whole week event where I got to meet so many people. Just to give an example and give a shout out to FaBled Academy, Alex and Leah are content creators, and they started by opening boxes, and Alex is literally a professional filmmaker, I think in Germany. And he flew in. He was like, I'm not playing one game, I'm here just to film content. And he's like, even day one, he's like, thank you, Saint, for inviting me to your office, for showing me around New York City. This is like a dream come true. And I was like, really? What dream come true? He's like, oh, I started off by watching FaBled Hunters videos, and I was like, I didn't know we had that level of influence.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it really is. So by being, good brand ambassadors, we're actually influencing others to also create content, also support the community, and they're growing as well. I hear that FaBled Academy, congrats to them. They're working with LSS on some things.
Ooh.
Yeah. They're doing collaboration or got contracted to do a couple projects.
All right.
And they also, thank you again, agreed to do a little collaboration for us. They did some recording and editing for a future FaBled Hunters episode.
Nice.
So congrats again to FaBled Academy. And it was just great, spending much of the week hanging out with them and seeing how seriously they took content creation. They really, really make amazing videos. We've got a great editor, but they're literally like, they put their heart and soul into every part of filming, and that's their calling. So yeah, what else?
That's all that I've got.
Okay, well, I am just looking forward to the next one. They're gonna continue doing this in Europe. Lille, I think I finally pronounced it right. Lille in France is gonna be a lot of fun. And guys, if you guys have significant others, France is always a great vacation place.
Yeah.
It's a great excuse to travel to Europe. And I think there will be 2 or 3 days of gameplay. And very conveniently, you can go west to London, you can go south to Paris. James already volunteered that, our wives are going to Paris for shopping. So that's going to be fun.
It'll be fun for your bank account.
Yeah, so much fun. The craziness of it all.
Well,
all right, so
if you like this kind of videos, remember, comment.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. twiddle the notification button, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.